Hello guys, and this video I'm gonna try something new because as I was showering I had some thoughts that kind of like, you know what, I want to talk a little bit about them. It's about America and them planning, or Trump planning on leaving Syria, taking half the troops out of Afghanistan and all that. But first of all, I don't want to make videos, just me talking about kind of like if I was in Trump's shoes, what would I do with some of the excess money? So instead, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna do a series where I just review energy drinks, something like that. So I'm not gonna do BCAA, fuck that. But other energy drinks, I'm just gonna do a little bit of review as I test them out. And then I'll talk some bullshit. So the title will just be the review of this specific one, but that will probably be the minority of the actual video. The other might just be some thoughts that I have that I just want to say. And I kind of want to get, well, your guys' opinion of whatever the topic is. So, this was Celsius, Hallon och Acai, which is raspberry and Acai. I'm guessing it's called Acai in English as well. Tastes like raspberry. It's good. I recommend it. It's actually very tasty. Oh yeah, also some food that my mom has made. As you could probably tell, some feta cheese. I love feta cheese. This is... I was gonna say chicken, but wait. It's not chicken, it's pork. And assorted greens. I don't know, castagne. Which I don't know what that's called in English. Carrots, haricot veg, I'm guessing, broccoli, probably bamboo, something like that. But anyways, now about what I was thinking of. Because, well, we'll see if it actually happens. But I fully support fucking America should just leave Syria, take all the troops out. Take all the troops out of Afghanistan. Alright, I think the plan is like 50%. That's good. That's some progress. Now, this is what I like about that. That thing I like about Trump. What I don't like about Trump is that he did say that he was not going to lower military spending this term. I think he specifically said this term, but I don't remember. Maybe he just said, I'm not going to lower it at all. I think that's stupid. Don't make those type of promises or whatever. So I don't think he would lower military spending. But this is what I thought of. You know what? Trump, what he could do, because like he said, he could say, oh, you know what? I'm pulling troops out. And with that money, and with some of the money that we're going to save, I could either create like a buffer. So we're not going to take that money and just put it into something else. Some of that money, who knows how much would it cost America, those 7,000 troops in Afghanistan and 2,000 or 5,000, whatever it is, in Syria? Kind of like 50 billion, probably something like that, I don't know. But whatever that money is, put it in a buffer. That is just money that they are putting into something where it's not going to be used. It's just a buffer. So that then he can say, next term, I'm going to lower military spending. But don't worry, Americans. We know you'll fucking love your military spending. If something were to happen, we have a buffer now. Whereas probably nothing would happen the first year, and the buffer would build up as military spending gets lower and lower and lower. they're still pumping in a little bit into the buffer, because kind of like we don't need to spend this much as we're doing. And if something were to happen, we could just use the buffer money and then raise like a military spending again. I think that would be smart. Or what you could do, if you don't want to do that, you could say, you know what? All American soldiers no longer on Obamacare or the Affordable Health Care Act. It will not, if you're a soldier, that will not affect you. You will be on military care, something like that. Maybe that type of thing exists in America. But what they could do be like, with some of the excess money, we're spending it on healthcare for our soldiers, meaning that the taxpayers do not have to pay for, and to make up the difference basically, for the Healthcare Act for specifically soldiers. That's something I could do, because then Trump is not actually lowering military spending. They're just doing it so that military spending is now being used for healthcare. And then it could be like, well, it's for the soldiers, so it's military spending. They could also put it into education for the soldiers. So it would mean like that instead of them spending money on the education system, some of it is actually going to education, but using the money that would normally go for bombs or whatever on actually educating the soldiers. Sound like that? I think, well, first of all, that's probably what I would do. Not only because, well, I think if I made a promise that I'm not going to fucking lower military spending, I would try to figure out a way to kind of be like, well, this is military spending. Training our soldiers to get life skills out of being soldiers. Giving them health care and other shit that's not necessarily for bombs or whatever, so that when the soldiers are not being soldiers, they can now do other work much easier to then pay taxes. And I think the people would love it, so that would probably be a good way to get re-elected. That's probably what I would do. What do you think about that plan? I think I explained it very poorly. But that's only if I ever made a promise, kind of like, or if it was like, you know, we cannot lower our military spending. Even if we get excess money from the budget, we need to spend it so that our budget does not get lowered for next year. Alright. Because I think that's kind of like how the military is at the moment. They're building and doing shit that they don't need to just so that their budget won't get lowered. Well, then put it into investments on the actual people, the soldiers, or whatever. You don't necessarily need to put it into, you could do, you know, Trump's Space Force. People want NASA to get bigger and more funding. Well, some of the project that maybe NASA was working on, put that into Space Force. Well, that's part of the military, so whatever they were planning on doing, that is military spending now. We're not lowering our budget, but we're just redistributing where, well, the wealth is going. That's probably what I would do. So thank you, Celsius. Your energy booster. I would prefer it wasn't 200. I don't know how much 200 milligrams of caffeine per can, how much that is. Since I don't drink these because they contain caffeine. So I will probably, Celsius, if you could release something that contains 50% less caffeine, maybe 100 milligrams per can. I would prefer that. But it is good. This Hallon Acai one is very tasty.